Back, ladies and gentlemen. Here we are in DreamHack Summer, continuing on with group stages here. It's a best of 3 in the winners match. One of these guys will get out of the group alive pretty swiftly, pretty quickly, and the other will have to go down to the losers match. Spawning here in the bottom right corner of the map, though, from Alien Invasion, it's going to be our green Terran player, Lillekanin.
In the upper left, as the red Zerg, it is the
red.
It's the orange Zerg. Niroxs.
What is that decal? That's not My Insanity logo.
Does that say fad?
I can't tell. Like fail, OP fail, maybe.
Okay.
Alright, well, whatever the case is, guys, he is from My Insanity. Niroxs is a player who's been on the team for quite some time. And again, I think it was, maybe it wasn't summer, but it was one of the last year's DreamHacks. I'm pretty sure it was DreamHack Summer. He knocked out Red, and that's when he really started to get a name for himself. He's yet to win anything big off of it, but I've seen him take down big players. Not on a regular basis, but he's the guy who pulls out the unlikely wins in the most weird scenarios. His opponents, Lillekanin, we've seen a little bit more often. He pops up in the Go for StarCrafts a lot, the Zotex a lot, and of course we recently had him on a show match, TvZ versus Paranoid. He's a really funny player because he can do the abusive pushes. Like, if you've been watching TvZ in the last month, you've seen a lot of these Hellbat pushes, a lot of these what look to be somewhat unstoppable early aggressive moves. Well, he's really good at pulling those off. He's also one of the only players I really know of in Europe that does like 3-port Banshee. Who else does that?
Not in Europe. Oh
yeah, there's a lot of North Americans I know who actually do that, but definitely, I think like him and I've seen Goody go multiple Banshees versus Protoss in his mech style, but I mean that's a whole nother can of worms, is what that is. But here we are at DreamHack, and I don't think we're going to see anything like quite shenanigans. There was actually Home Story Cup qualifiers. I forgot about this. Lillekanin had done his strategy versus a Zerg player in Ultra Team Stronghold where he only went battlecruisers. And it wasn't like trolly, like he just had this really weird build that allowed him to pressure with the battlecruisers, and it snowballed out of control very quickly. I don't think we're going to see anything jokingly stupid like that here on the stage of like a DreamHack, but it's just always worth knowing that that's in this guy's repertoire, that he's able to be like that sort of weird, unpredictable player.
I'm sorry, my mic came off my desk.
Did it, or did you just fall asleep in your chair?
It came off my desk.
Alright.
Did you not hear the...
No. Nobody can see you, Zombie Grub. Nobody believes you.
Oh, okay.
But okay, as far as Niroxs goes, I don't know. We're seeing... It's cool. Impact from Axiom has held off those earlier Hellbats I just finished describing with like multitudes of queens, excesses of 5+. We're seeing players like Hendralisk bring out the 2-base Mutalisks to deal with it. I don't know if Lillekanin's necessarily going for that really abusive push, but quite frankly, I kind of wish he is. He put the barracks on the low ground, and this looks like it's going to be Marauders following it. So if this is going to be Roaches, they're not going to hold.
Dude, yield Marauder Hellion push.
Well, I think it's going to be Hellbats, but... yeah, Hellion's to
Whatever.
start. That's some great casting right there. Whatever. That thing with the stuff. Oh yeah, first blood happened over here. Sorry, I was busy making fun of Zombie Girl, guys.
You're a terrible caster. What's wrong with you?
No, you're being a fantastic caster. Thank you for adding your 2 cents to this.
You're a terrible caster. You missed first blood.
Okay. Wow! Okay, Armory's on the way for Lillekanin right now. This is 100% going to be Hellbats. So once the transformation servers kick in, Hellbats do a lot of damage, guys. The bottom line is, they hit for more than Roaches do. You got Splash and Roaches don't. It's not easy to deal with.
Did you see there's no command center? I don't know if you saw there's no command center. I think you barely see that there's no command center, unless you assume that it's on the high ground.
If you see a barracks in the low ground with a tac lab on it, you have to know it's a Marauder push.
Right? Like, you're kind of guessing, though. Like, unless you played this guy before, unless you happen to have someone who does this build, but it's kind of new to me. I don't think it's really expected. He's just going to prepare for anything, and by, you know, preparing for anything, he gets spine crawlers, get as many lings as you can, and you get for Baneling Nest.
So many lings that, even if he goes for like a counterattack, even if he catches Lillekanin with his whole army across the map, he can simply raise this. The Baneling bust is kind of a cool idea, and Banelings are not a bad idea to deal with the Hellbats. The problem is, I think this is... his army's just in the wrong spot.
Yeah,
He's
I
going
don't
defensive.
Like going for the counterattack. I really don't.
Like, let's say he finds a way to Bane bust through this, right? There's going to be Hellbats on top of the ramp waiting. SCVs will be split, and the attack begins on their side of the field. Now, there are crazy transfuses coming down top of the Spine Crawler. The Marauders now trying to focus down on the one armored building, but the Queens are starting to burn. Lings are flooding in. And the SCVs repairing is kind of a cool move, actually. It's got 4 SCVs repairing one of these Hellbats.
Those SCVs have really helped this push out.
Like, I think that Hellbat had about 7 lives.
Yeah, that said, I don't think that Lillekanin has enough.
No, the Banelings will finish this off.
Yeah. Those Queens, man. Those Queens and Spy Colors, I underestimate the power.
Yeah, those transfuses were pretty nice. You lost a lot, and that was...
So is this, like, game?
I don't know, because it's borderline all-in, right? Like, if you can hold the counterattack out of Lillekanin, then you both kind of equalize. But he's not left with a whole lot to actually hold the counterattack with. And it's not just going to be Zerglings. There'll be a Baneling bus following this as well to get up to that main base, to go for that flood.
Yeah.
No bunkers, no sign. He's getting the Banshees up potentially, but this means his barracks won't be producing.
Well, that's it. That's, like, those Hellion sign was... That was his only defense.
Yeah, he's gonna bust through this. This is gonna be so dirty. This is gonna be so nasty. I think Niroxs with a pretty good defense and a counterattack. I mean, the Banshee's not gonna be out is the problem. If the Banshee was already out, he picks these off one at a time. This isn't really that big of a deal. But because it's not gonna be out in time, bust through the reactor. There's no units to play with but a couple Hellions. Ooh, actually, transforming to Hellbat's gonna protect some of the SCVs. First Hellbat's gonna go down though. Will the repairs be enough? Baneling's getting on top of this too. Hellbat stands. Banshee is slowly coming out. Emphasis here on slowly. And there's no second wave of Lings.
Yeah, there is not. That's surprising because I thought for sure he would think that was the way to go, like the way to end the game right now.
But the thing is, it's still 15 SCVs. No second command center. More importantly, no second orbital. I don't know. Like, if he goes to the Banshee, he's got the potential to do some real damage here, but a couple Spore Crawlers will solve that issue.
Right, yeah. If he could return the favor and kill, like, 20+ drones with the Banshees, well, that's great, but I don't think I've ever seen that happen in TvZ. And I think that, you know, Zergpush is going to go for mutas now.
I like his move with that one Hellion, by the way. If he had stopped the hit and run, he would have lost it, but because he just played Ring Around the Rosie, that's actually pretty slick. Yeah, layers on their way, and you're right. The problem for Lillekanin is Banshees, Hellions, Marauders, they all share one common trait, and that's the non-ability to shoot up.
Yeah. I remember doing that Marauder Hellion all-in back in Always Liberty, and...
I remember Bolt doing that build, man. It was the coolest thing at MLG and stuff.
Yeah, it was. I remember getting stuck on it, and then I didn't have anything that shot up.
Yeah.
Felt so bad. Oh, the Secret Third is kind of cool. Secret Third Agent.
Yeah, I don't know if that's going to necessarily be scouted. I don't think Lillekanin's got the long game in mind, so if he is looking to follow this up with, say, like another all-in, then, you know, surprise, surprise, there's a whole nother base on the map for him to have to deal with.
Yeah. I just wonder why he did take it. I mean, was he afraid that the third would be cut down because there wasn't any creep over there, so the Spore Crawler wouldn't be there? I mean, that's actually kind of a legit reason.
Well, then I think if Lillekanin is actually going mech out of this, and it looks to be the case. Well, actually, hang on. If he puts a reactor and starts producing like 4 Hellbats at a time, never mind. But if he's going full on mech, he's going to spend so much time just not building much, having to turtle up defensively. And he's a player who, I love Lillekanin to death, but he's very notorious for never really getting like above 40 or 50 SCVs.
You know, mech would be a really great, because it can bring you back in those bad positions just because you can turtle onto base, get to a decent count, and maybe they mess up once or twice. And you're pretty okay, as opposed to Bio where you constantly, you should be out on the map doing something. But because of the mutas, mech's now actually really bad. You know, he's not going to have a Thor, he's not going to have any Vikings to help out. He's going to have turrets, he's going to engineer be at a good time, but that just means that they find that one position without any turrets and there's nothing to do about it.
You know, it's kind of sad too. Like, I really want to bring extra attention to this. The non-Terrans in the audience probably don't care a lot about what's going on, but the Terran players, you gotta appreciate the control on these Hellions If you've ever experienced trying to run away from speedlings, you know that your Hellions don't have the easiest time in the world, but Lillekanin's actually been doing a great job with them so far this game. But the mutas are on the way. There's a Thor and a couple Widowmines, but turrets are late, and there's not a lot of them.
It's going to be 3, which means that pretty much right now the production is going to be under siege. That's where he plants his Widowmines. He's trying to have the best defense off of what little that he has. The Thor will not survive without mass repair or help from, you know, whatever Widowmines, SCVs.
Alright, so 1 muta goes down so far. There's a couple turrets still up, so the weakened mutas do have to be careful. He's got to get to those SCVs, though.
Yeah, and the missile turret.
The overseer's here now, too, so...
Oh, the wall could go down. He could flood with lings. He's not choosing to, though. He's actually baking a lot of minerals.
I mean, these Hellions snuck out a long time ago. Yeah, I'm surprised that they're still going here. It's taking a while to kill the hatchery, but it will eventually go down as the thing.
I think it's finally gonna be cleaned up.
Yeah,
he's still only on 44 drones. He just now had a round. You should go up and get, you know, because, you know, now you know that he has mech. He's not gonna be pushing out anytime soon, and if he's gonna be pushing out, it's not like with a big army. And you know that you actually have a lot of control because you went for mutas. So droning up till however much that he wants right now is free. You know, he can do it without any problems.
This is such a hard situation to come back to, because when you go mech, you know, that third base is more important than in a bio scenario, and it's gonna be the slow goody style like expand for Lillekanin at this point. And Niroxs, you know, take the third base at home. Lillekanin may think, okay, my opponent's only on 3 bases, but of course we know it's really actually 4.
Mm-hmm. Finally getting up to the 70-ish drone count as well, so he's gonna really start taking over the map. I mean, that's going to be the problem. Again, mech can bring you back, but it's a very, very slow process. You're going to be on 2 base for a long time. And then you might get to 3 bases, but maybe only if they mess up once or twice. And then getting a 4th, I don't know if he can ever get a 4th. He might just try to end it on 3, which is probably his best bet.
I just want to dispel some rumors here real quick, guys. I don't think anyone in the tournament is Diamond. I think like the lowest anyone is Masters. I could be wrong on that, but I know for certain Lillekanin's Grandmaster, and Niroxs has always been like very top Master players. So it's been really irritating just getting a glance at chat and seeing that, guys. There's no bad players in DreamHack. That's what's awesome. It's not as stacked as last winter, of course, where that was like all the Koreans and all the winners for the previous DreamHacks. But look at the group stages. Look at everything coming out after this. Like there's only good players getting filtered through, and that's. I'm looking so much forward to the rest of the day. There's so much more good games to come. But we still got this one, of course, in game number 1. We got some triple hooks on the way. The Banelings are an interesting choice, considering the fact that Niroxs has got to identify that this was mech at this point. He saw the extra factories. He's seen the Thors and the Widowmines. The Banelings will have their place, but not against tanks, not against Thors, and certainly not against, well, maybe some of the Widowmines, I guess.
The idea with the Banelings is that you crush the Hellbats fast enough that the, you know, Thors and tanks really don't do well against Lings. So the Lings surround them, and we've seen that actually work out. We've also seen it, like, completely not work out, but I think with good control and, of course, an overwhelming army supply, it'll be fine. I'm
loving these Hellion run-bys he's been trying to pull off. Sadly, getting caught now, and the Mutla is starting to get at that map control. I mean, that's the point of this unit. It's so mobile, it's so fast, and it's meant to control the ways, and sadly, there won't be any more sneaking out of the Hellions. The Viking count behind this is pretty neat too, but what we do see is a very dangerous tech swap coming up, and that's the Locusts. Every mech player, you know, when you watch the Koreans, they push at a timing because it's when there's only going to be maybe a couple of swarm hosts out at most. Lillekanin will not be pushing out anytime soon, which means these swarm hosts are going to be quite devastating. I mean, siege tanks can deal with them, but he's not going to have a lot.
Yeah, he doesn't have enough to deal with the transition. It's already hard enough when you're in a perfectly normal game, but when you're just trying to get, you know, you're barely pumping out all 5 production worth of factories. In fact, it's almost a waste to get the additional 2. Yes, you're on 2 base, but really you're only on 1. And with, you know, mech being so gas heavy, how often are you really going to use all 5? But it's just, he's not going to be able to deal with the swarm host and the mutas.
Well, Hellions getting around, looking to go for another attack. Niroxs is doing what I really like. That's taking all the bases of the map right now. It's a slow, and it's not like he's rushing to throw down hatcheries everywhere, but the thing for Lillekanin is he's still not on a 3rd. If there was creep spread, and creep tumors on his side of the map right now, he would just straight up be out of the game. Bottom line, wouldn't matter what units he had behind it because he would never take a third. And that's how you can shut a mech player down who's stuck on 2 bases, is pretty much with creep more than actual army value.
Yeah. I'm honestly surprised he hasn't tried bullying his way in here. As far as he saw, there was only 1 Thor and honestly 3 Thors with enough mutas. Still ain't enough. We saw plenty of games on Frost too where 8 Thors wasn't enough. They still got magic box. And that's why the Vikings are always there, because they need that extra bit of damage to really take care of it. But Niroxs is just... he's going to play the long game. I don't think he's letting Lillekanin back into the game. But Lillekanin is probably feeling like, okay, maybe I can do this. You know, I'm going to get a 3rd, and that's pretty good for me. And maybe I can get a 4th, maybe.
Well, actually, what I find hilarious is Lillekanin is typically the guy who'll throw down that command center across the map, that secret base, if you will. But of course, this Niroxs game. Blue Flame Hellion's getting some pretty good damage. Other one's right up over here. Sadly, there's an Overlord spot, so the Spine Collar will defend us. I like the idea, the concept. Again, constantly moving around the map, but the Greater Spire on the way. Broodlords mixed with Swarm Host is a very dangerous combination.
Broodlords is a great way to break this. If you're a little uncertain, even though he has a bank and he has a good composition, he could probably brute force his way in here. Broodlords are the way to, like, you know, have a little more finesse in breaking a mech player that doesn't have ravens and stuff.
Oh my god, though. Zombie Grub.
How?
Hey, you guys ever wonder what 39 Banlings Morpheon looks like? Here's your answer. If this was a planetary, this would be perfect, but because it's not, he doesn't even need to use all the Banlings. He can just roll in like 5 or 6 and kill most of these SCVs. Clumped up and stuck are a lot of these mules not even mining as well. That transfer! Oh no, the transfer! Lillekanin running for his life, but this is going to be a massacre!
Monster kill! Save some of the SCVs. Back down to 39 SCVs. How many died right there? Okay, 36 in total for a Zerg player.
I'm pretty sure he didn't lose any prior to this, so that was pretty much a massacre. Plus, let's not forget all those mules. That was seriously like 7 or something mules.
Yeah, all of his mules that weren't actually mining.
Yeah, but still. Nonetheless, a hard loss to take. Now, here's why the Broodlords are good, guys. Siege tanks, they can beat back endless waves of locusts. You know, how do you make a siege tank unsiege? Throw down a ton of broodlings right on top of them. Friendly fire becomes a big threat. Where are those Vikings, though, right now? The Thor's getting focused down so quickly, but oh, the Mutas eat a couple bad volleys, and suddenly the flock is thinned out quite devastatingly.
Yeah, that went from okay to suddenly just no Mutas at all.
He picked up like 3 Thors, and that went great, and then he clumped like once. It was the downfall. But that's a lot of Broodlords.
Yes, you know, 11 Broodlords. It's pretty lot.
Niroxs' like mantra seems to be just make a lot of one unit. You know, 39 Banlings, 20 Mutalisks, now tons of Broodlords. The Viking count's holding strong though. If there was a couple more Ravens, this would be an easy hold, I think. But this could be a little bit scary. There's quite a Corruptor count. Okay,
good. You try your best, Widowmine.
Yeah, I like watching one Widowmine get attacked and immediately like 20 Broodlings spawn. Like what? That attack animation. A couple Seeker Missiles gonna go off here. We'll see if he can hold, but the Broodlings are gonna be really hard to deal with. These Corruptors are also gonna zone out pretty nicely as well. This is not an easy hold. I think, honestly, he needed a point defense drone more than a Seeker Missile.
He had those Thors in there as well. The Thors are, in fact, almost better with their splash damage. I think he just transformed them so that the Corruptors go down. And if the Corruptors are down, you'll be surprised at how fast the supply goes down when Broodlords are free for your Vikings.
And GG's gonna be called. Alright, so Niroxs actually going to take game number 1. The lowly master player beats the Grandmaster. What am I watching right now?
Wow, that was some sick voice work.
It really was. But no, Niroxs is a good player who should never ever be underestimated. Lillekanin had an opening in that game that failed on him. Niroxs held that magnificently, and he even broke through the oh my god, it's mech towards the end too. So big props, but there's only game number 1. It's a best of 3, guys. We'll see what next map ends up being here. They're getting the lobby up right now.